Welcome to Pinehurst Resort, one of the USA's most storied golfing destinations. And this year, famed Pinehurst No.2 is writing itself into the history books once again by hosting the first ever back-to-back men's and women's US Opens. The men will tee it up on June the 12th for the third time since 1999. And then, the following week, the ladies of the LPGA will tackle the Donald Ross Masterpiece for the first time.
Of the 13 USGA championships, we've hosted their 5 major ones, from the Women's Amateur, the Men's Amateur, the US Open, the Women's Open, and the Senior Open. So yeah, we'll have hosted their 5 major championships, and it really is an honor.
This year's version of Pinehurst No.2 bears little resemblance visually to the courses where Payne Stewart and Michael Campbell won the US Open. Ben Crenshaw and Bill Coore were called in to restore No.2 back to Donald Ross's original vision, a task completed in 2011.
In 2005 for the US Open, it was very much, from tree line to tree line, green grass, and very little sand, very little wiregrass. And as we went back and looked at historical photos and thought about what Pinehurst really is, it's not a manicured golf course, it's a natural golf course.
I think that what Ben Crenshaw and Bill Coore were able to do is they haven't changed the shot values. I mean, you're hitting the same shots that you hit in '99 and 2005, but the aesthetics have changed completely.
Gone is the treacherous Bermuda rough at the new-look Pinehurst No.2. The famous crowned Donald Ross greens are now surrounded by much more expansive fairways, mixed in with a healthy dose of pine straw and wiregrass that once again shows off the sandy soil that is famous in North Carolina.
They took out 35 acres of grass, took out 650 sprinkler heads. We had irrigation that was not only second row but third row irrigation, so we could have uniformity in our roughs. They took all that out, and now the only irrigation we have on No.2 runs right down the center line. So the further you stray from the center line, the less predictable your lie.
It really does give you a different perspective when you're playing the course. You see things that you never would have seen playing it before.
It's much more interesting to play, much more visually intimidating off the tee, and it just really helps define the corridors of play a lot better than it did before. It's very much the way that the course looked and played when Ross was alive.
The man who designed and redesigned more than 400 courses would no doubt be thrilled that his most famous layout is making history in 2014. And the other major thing that the renovation to No.2 has done is establish a new set of playing conditions that, until now, have never been seen at the USGA's marquee events.
Literally, these will be the first Open Championships, men and women's, without literally any rough.
Before, when you hit it off the fairway, you kind of knew what you had. You were going to just wedge it out. Now you may could take it up and draw it around and let it run up because you got a hard pan lie, or you may be right up against a bush and you may have to take an unplayable lie. So it's a lot of what ifs, so to speak. So some of the sand could be really soft, or you could get a perfect lie and knock it on the green and make birdie.
Whilst both the men and women face up to this new and unique USGA challenge, one thing is for certain: whoever is leading coming down the stretch on Sunday will need to negotiate a very imposing finishing stretch, highlighted by the testing par 3 17th.
Down the hill, you got bunker left, bunker right, bunker behind the green. Now it's a little bit more waste area. You might get a bad lie, you might get a downhill lie to a tuck pin. Obviously if somebody's got the lead and, one-shot lead coming in with 2 holes to play, you hit it in one of those bunkers, you can easily make 5. The golf course, hopefully, is going to be hard and very fast, so the ball could trickle into that back bunker, and, the wind off the 18th, kind of when it gets up in the air, could knock it down, or, so there's a lot of factors.
While the lack of rough is a new era in US Open golf, don't be fooled into thinking that this year's edition of No.2 will be a pushover. If you take a torrential pre-tournament downpour out of the equation, the course will play very hard and very fast, and that means the pros could be in for a long week with a putter.
Going back to 2005 in that Sunday round, probably that golf course played as hard as any US Open golf course I've ever seen, and it truly does get down to the greens. The greens complexes that Donald Ross built here are just, they're masterful.
So with back-to-back men's and women's majors for the first time on one of America's greatest courses that has been restored to its original glory, the stage is set for a sensational fortnight of golf, and the locals who see Pinehurst No. 2 every day can't wait to get started.
We are blessed with beautiful black and white photos that line our hallways of all the great history that we've had here, but the neat thing about Pinehurst No. 2 is that it's been able to stay relevant to the best players in today's game. So I think as we continue to host U.S. Opens and national championships, we're getting to put color photos on those walls that the next generation of golfers will be able to identify with. So we hope to continue to stay relevant and to continue to test the best players in the world for another 100 years.